Annie and Snowball and the Cozy Nest by Cynthia Ryland, illustrated by Susie Stevenson. Happy day. It was May and Annie was happy. So many good things were happening. Her cousin Henry was having a birthday. The tulips she planted were blooming, and on her porch someone was making a nest. The nest was in a safe little spot. Annie had seen it one day when she was reading with her bunny Snowball. "Snowball, look," Annie had said. "A nest." Annie called Henry next door and asked him to come and see the nest. He did. And every day since then, Annie and Henry had hoped to see who was building the nest. The nest was getting bigger and bigger. Annie could see the bits of twig and bits of leaves and even some small bits of fur. She wondered if it was Snowball fur. Then she wondered if it was Mudge fur. Henry's big dog, Mudge, had enough extra fur to fill an elephant's nest, if elephants built nests. Annie checked the little nest every day to see if anyone was home, but so far no one had moved in. A new neighbor. One day Annie was reading on the swing when a little robin swooped above her head. The swoop made Snowball jump. Annie looked up at the nest. Someone was home. It was the little robin. Annie watched quietly as the little robin settled into her cozy home. The nest was in a perfect place to hatch babies. A person would never know the nest was there unless he sat on Annie's swing. And no one sat on Annie's swing except Annie and Snowball and sometimes Henry and sometimes Annie's dad. Mudge did not sit on Annie's swing, though sometimes he tried. The little robin and the little nest were perfectly safe. Annie had a new neighbor. Waiting and waiting. For days and days, Annie quietly watched the little robin sit in its cozy nest. The little bird was almost always there. When it flew away, Annie worried that it might not come back. But it always did, and Annie knew why. One day, when the bird was away, Annie's dad lifted her up to look inside the nest. "5 eggs," whispered Annie. "5 blue eggs." Annie's dad told her she could look at the eggs but not to touch them. He said that mother birds do not like fingers touching their eggs, so Annie did not touch. She wanted the little robin to be happy living on the porch. Henry and his dad came over to see the eggs too. "5 eggs," said Henry's dad. "She's hatching a basketball team." Annie and Henry laughed. Henry's dad could be so silly. Everyone could hardly wait to see the babies. A family. The baby birds picked the perfect morning to hatch. It was a Saturday morning. Annie and Annie's dad and Henry's dad and Henry's mom and Snowball and Mudge were all in Annie's kitchen having pancakes. Snowball loved lettuce pancakes. The doors were open, the windows were open, and somehow everyone was chewing at the same time, so it was quiet. Then suddenly, cheep, 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 cheep. The sounds came from the front porch, and they were loud. Annie's dad said, "I think someone else wants breakfast." Everyone hurried to the porch. There in the cozy nest were 5 baby birds, eyes closed, mouth open, all cheeping. The little robin was perched on the nest, putting bits of food in each baby's mouth. "They're beautiful," said Annie. And really hungry, said Henry. Mudge's ears were perked up. Cheeping was a new sound to him. I'm proud of the mother, said Annie. She waited and waited and waited. When the last baby was fed, the little robin flew off to find more food. That reminds me, said Henry. Pancakes, said Henry and Annie together. They all went back inside to the table. Then everyone was chewing and talking. It had been an exciting morning. The excitement had made them hungrier. While everyone ate, Mudge and Snowball curled up under the table. Look, said Annie. Snowball has her own cozy nest. Yes, said Henry. But this nest snores.